Welcome back, the rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Abraham Lincoln wheat pennies and rare Lincoln wheat cents. But not just any coins, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction. So let's get started. First up, the 1928 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, specifically the version without a mint mark. If you're a collector or just a curious coin lover, you're in the right place. Now let's take a closer look at this coin. The 1928 wheat penny is part of the famous series that was struck by the U.S. Mint from 1909 to 1958. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the reverse showing the two stalks of wheat. But today, we're focusing on the 1928 version without a mint mark. Before we dive into its value, let's quickly talk about mint marks. Mint marks are small letters on a coin that indicate where it was produced. For most of the 1928 Lincoln wheat pennies, you'll find them stamped with either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the coin we're looking at today, it's one without any mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, you might be wondering, how much is this coin worth today? Well, the value of a 1928 wheat penny without a mint mark can vary depending on its condition, rarity, and demand in the market. So, let's break it down. For a 1928 Lincoln, wheat penny in good condition, which means the coin has some wear, but the details are still visible, it could be worth around $220 to $500. Now, this might not sound like a huge amount, but it's important to keep in mind that this value fluctuates depending on various factors like supply and demand. If your 1928 penny is in better condition, say, graded very fine or extremely fine, it can be worth between $430 and $520, or even more. Coins that are MS 63, mint state 63, or higher basically, those that are almost flawless, can fetch anywhere from $50 to $100. First, condition is everything. Coins that have minimal wear, no scratches, and good surface quality are considered more desirable. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, it could be worth hundreds of dollars. And remember, grading a coin correctly can significantly impact its value. You'll want to make sure you get an accurate grade, and professional grading services like the PCGS or NGC can help you with that. Next, rarity matters. While the 1928 Lincoln wheat penny wasn't part of a super low mintage year, the no mint mark version from Philadelphia is a bit more scarce than the DNDS versions. The fewer coins available in good condition, the higher the price. Finally, demand is a big factor. The Lincoln wheat penny series has always had strong collector interest, especially from those who specialize in early 20th century U.S. coins. This demand drives prices upward, particularly for those in excellent condition. Let's make sure you know how to properly identify your 1928 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. As we mentioned earlier, coins without a mint mark were produced in Philadelphia, so if there's no D or S visible, it's likely the Philadelphia variety. On the obverse, you'll see President Abraham Lincoln's portrait, facing to the right. The word Liberty is inscribed to the left, and the year 1928 is at the bottom. On the reverse, you'll see two stalks of wheat with the words E pluribus unum in between them, and 1 cent at the bottom. The lack of a mint mark means this particular coin was struck in Philadelphia. So what's the market like for the 1928 Lincoln wheat penny? While it's not one of the rarest coins out there, it has a consistent demand among collectors. If you're thinking about selling or buying, you can usually find this coin available through online auctions, coin dealers, or even at local coin shops. Next up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, specifically the large date variety with D mint mark. If you've ever wondered what makes this penny special or how much it's worth today, keep watching, because we're going to break it all down for you. The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny is part of the famous series that was produced from 1909 to 1958. It features the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln on the front, with two stalks of wheat on the reverse. But there's something about the 1956 penny that makes it a little more unique, the large date variety with the D mint mark. Let's talk about why the 1956 Lincoln penny is such an interesting piece for collectors. First, there's the large date variety. In 1956, the U.S. Mint produced both a large date and a small date version of the penny. The large date features the digits of the year 1956 spaced farther apart, making them much more noticeable compared to the small date version. So how can you tell the difference between the two? It's simple. Look at the size of the digits in the year. If you're holding a coin where the and the are noticeably larger and farther apart, you've got a large date penny. Now, let's get to the fun part. How much is this 1956 Lincoln wheat penny worth in today's market? The value can vary depending on a few key factors, most notably the condition of the coin. For a coin in extra fine condition, let's break it down. In extra fine condition, this penny has visible wear, but the details like Lincoln's portrait, the wheat stalks, and the inscriptions are still sharp and well-defined. Coins in extra fine condition are very appealing to collectors, as they strike a balance between being affordable and still looking great. For a 1956 large date penny with D mint mark in extra fine condition, you're looking at a value of around $15,000 in today's market. This is the general price range for a coin in this condition depending on factors like market demand, the specific coin's details, and where it's being sold. If you have a 1956 large date penny that's in better condition, say, graded very fine or extremely fine, the price can rise to $500 or more. Coins in uncirculated condition, with no wear at all, can be worth significantly more, often around $20,000 or higher. The most obvious factor is condition. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. Extra fine coins are desirable because they have minimal wear while still showing all the key design details. If your coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, you can expect a significantly higher value. Next, there's rarity. The 1956 large date penny with D mint mark isn't considered a particularly rare coin. However, as with any coin, the demand can fluctuate. If collectors are actively seeking this coin, its value might go up. The more limited the availability of high-quality coins in good condition, the more it increases the overall value, and don't forget about market demand. While the 1956 penny is not the rarest of the series, it's still a sought-after coin among collectors, especially those who focus on Lincoln wheat pennies. Demand for coins can shift over time, but the classic appeal of the wheat penny ensures that it maintains steady interest. Let's make sure you can identify your 1956 large date penny with D mint mark. First, flip the coin over to the reverse. If you see two stalks of wheat with the words E pluribus unum above them and 1 cent at the bottom, you're in the right place. Now look at the obverse, or front, of the coin. You should clearly see Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing to the right. The year 1956 should be on the bottom, with the digits 5 and 6 spaced wider apart than on the small date version. And of course, check for the mint mark. If you see a D under the year, that means it was minted in Denver. So, where can you find these coins? And what's the market like for them? Right now, the 1956 large date penny is readily available through online auction sites, coin dealers, and local shops. As we discussed earlier, the price for an extra fine version usually ranges from $30,000, but prices can vary depending on the specific condition of the coin and where you buy it. Next up, the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny, specifically the one with the S mint mark. But we're not just going to talk about its history, we'll also take a close look at its fine condition and dive into its value in today's market. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or a newbie, this video has something for everyone. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, is one of the most beloved and well-known coins in U.S. numismatics. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse, you'll see two wheat stalks, giving the coin its famous name, the wheat penny. Now, let's focus on the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny. This particular penny is significant because of the year it was minted. The late 1930s and early 1940s marked an important time in U.S. history, just before the United States entered World War II. The 1940 penny was minted in large quantities, but we're specifically looking at the one with the S mint mark indicating it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin, which is described as being in fine condition. When collectors talk about coin grades, the term fine condition refers to a coin that's seen circulation but still retains clear, legible features. In fine condition, the portrait of Lincoln is clearly visible, though there's some wear, particularly on the highest points, such as his hair and beard. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are still discernible but may show a little wear or fading due to circulation. In fine condition, this coin will show noticeable wear, but you can still make out important features like the lettering and the date. While it's not as sharp and detailed as a coin in higher grades like extra fine or mint state, a coin in fine condition is still a great addition to a collection and has decent value. So, what's this 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny with the S mint mark? Worth today in fine condition. In the current market, a 1940 penny with the S mint mark in fine condition typically ranges in value from 50 cents to $2. That's not a huge amount. And you're right. While the 1940 penny isn't one of the rarest or most expensive pennies out there, it still holds a bit of value due to its place in history and its condition. The reason the 1940 S penny is worth more than face value is due to the mint mark and the year it was minted. Coins from the San Francisco Mint often have more appeal, especially when they were minted during times of high demand and circulation like in 1940. Now, a 1940 penny without the mint mark, minted in Philadelphia, will generally be worth a little less. A coin in fine condition might only fetch about 25 cents to $1. So, if you have a 1940 S penny, you've already got a bit of an edge when it comes to value. So, what are the key factors that impact the value of this coin, aside from its condition? First, we have the mint mark. As we mentioned earlier, this coin was minted at the San Francisco Mint, and having the S mint mark makes it a bit more desirable compared to coins from the Philadelphia Mint. Generally, coins from San Francisco tend to have a slightly lower mintage, which increases their appeal. Second, we've already talked about condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin in fine condition will generally be worth a little more than a coin in good condition, but less than one in extra fine or uncirculated condition. Lastly, rarity and demand also play a role. While the 1940 S penny isn't an extremely rare coin, it's still part of the popular Lincoln Wheat penny series, and there's always demand from collectors working on completing their sets. The coin's historical significance and the fact that it represents the years leading up to World War II make it a bit more appealing to numismatists. Next up, the 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, in good condition. We'll explore the history behind this coin, explain what good condition means, and most importantly, dive into its value in today's market. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, stay tuned. Let's start with some history. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features Lincoln's famous portrait, while the reverse shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. The 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted during an interesting time in U.S. history. The late 1920s was a period of economic prosperity known as the Roaring Twenties. However, this era also saw growing economic tensions, which would culminate in the Great Depression just a year later in 1930. So, while the 1929 penny might seem ordinary at first glance, it holds a special place in history. Now, this specific penny we're talking about was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and here's an important detail. It has no mint mark. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it wasn't produced in Denver or San Francisco, but rather in the Philadelphia Mint, which is the primary mint facility for the U.S. Mint. Let's talk about the coin's condition. The 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny we're discussing today is in good condition. In the world of numismatics, the term good condition refers to a coin that's seen significant wear but still retains key features, such as the date and major details on both sides of the coin. For this coin, in good condition, you'll notice the portrait of Abraham Lincoln is still recognizable, although it may show some flattening, especially around the higher points like the hair and cheek. The wheat stalks on the reverse side will also show wear. But you can still clearly identify the two stalks and some of the finer details, such as the words e pluribus unum above them. In fact, a good condition coin is often the starting point for many collectors, especially those who are building their Lincoln Wheat penny collections. It's also a good representation of what coins looked like after circulating for decades, as they were spent and exchanged by people during the time. So, how much is this 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition worth today? Well, in today's market, a 1929 penny in good condition typically ranges in value from 25 cents to $1. It's important to note that the value of any coin is impacted by a variety of factors such as condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. While 25 cents to $1 might not seem like much, remember that this is still significantly higher than its face value of 1 cent. And with the Lincoln Wheat penny being such a beloved series among collectors, coins like the 1929 in good condition can still be a valuable piece of American history. If you've got a 1929 Lincoln Wheat penny in your collection, it's important to take proper care of it to preserve its value. First, always handle the coin with clean gloves. This will prevent oils, dirt, or other contaminants from transferring onto the coin's surface. The best way to store your penny is in an airtight protective holder, such as a 2x2 holder, a coin flip, or a slabbed case, anything that will prevent it from being scratched or further worn down. Keeping your coin in a dry, safe environment will help protect it from the elements and preserve its value over time. Next up, the 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, featuring those distinct tick lines and in fine condition. We'll break down its history, explain what tick lines mean, and dive into the all-important question: what is its value in today's market? So stay tuned and let's explore this iconic piece of U.S. history. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln Wheat penny has been a favorite among coin collectors since its introduction in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, representing the country's agricultural roots. Now, let's zoom in on the 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny. This particular coin, minted in Philadelphia, indicated by the absence of a mint mark, was produced during a time of relative economic stability in the Roaring '20s, a period that would soon be followed by the Great Depression. The 1926 penny might seem ordinary at first glance, but for collectors, this year's penny has an added significance thanks to its design and the unique characteristics of certain versions of the coin. Now, let's talk about something that makes this coin stand out: the tick lines. These tiny raised lines, or marks, appear on the reverse of some 1926 Lincoln Wheat pennies in the wheat stalks or around the words e pluribus unum. These tick lines can appear as a result of the coin's die variety, caused by imperfections or wear on the minting dies during the production process. It's important to note that while tick lines might seem like an imperfection, they actually contribute to the uniqueness and collectability of the coin. Collectors often look for these varieties when building their collections because these subtle details can make a difference in how valuable a coin is. In some cases, these tick lines might be more pronounced, adding a bit of character to the coin, and when combined with the overall fine condition of the coin, they can make it even more attractive to collectors. Let's now dive into what fine condition means for the 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny. In numismatic terms, a coin in fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains significant detail. For the 1926 penny, this means that the portrait of Abraham Lincoln is still clearly visible, though you may notice some flattening on the high points, like Lincoln's cheek, hair, and the lettering around the rim. So, what is the value of the 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition? As of today's market, a 1926 penny in fine condition typically ranges from $2. However, it's important to note that the exact value can depend on various factors such as the presence of tick lines, overall demand, and the coin's appeal to specific collectors. If you have a 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition, it's likely to hold more value than one in poor or fair condition. Coins with better clarity in their design, such as the tick lines, will usually be more sought after by collectors. Taking care of your 1926 Lincoln Wheat penny is essential if you want to preserve its value. The first step is to handle it carefully. Always use clean gloves to avoid transferring oils or dirt from your fingers onto the coin's surface. Even though the 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny may not be as valuable as some other coins from the series, it still holds a special place among collectors. It's a representation of the Roaring Twenties, a time of economic prosperity before the Great Depression. For collectors, owning a piece of that history, especially one with distinctive features like tick lines, adds character and uniqueness to any collection. So there you have it. The 1926 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, with tick lines, and in fine condition. While its market value may not be in the hundreds of dollars, it's still a sought-after coin for collectors, and it's a fascinating piece of history. If you have one of these in your collection, treat it with care. It might be worth more than you think.